Hey guys, and welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you to everyone who has sent me a message, and special thanks to everyone who has signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so much people that have signed up, so I thank you so much for that. Right, I'll go through all your messages, I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all your messages for definite. So it seems today now, insulate Britain again. Not what you're thinking, not yet, but it's still early in the morning, right? But the police, right, have been proactive now, and they've gone and they've rounded up a few members from Insulate Britain, which for me, all this behaviour is very, very strange, right? Because apparently, a lot of these guys from Insulate Britain have been arrested and charged. Right, so there's a process. When you get arrested and charged, you get arrested, charged, right, and then you're given, and then obviously, on a general basis, you're given bail, right? But then, if you go back out and commit the same offence, right, and you get arrested again for the same offence, then on a general basis, what will happen is the police will arrest you, right, and then they will hold you right until the next morning and take you to court, right, and then the prosecutor will explain what's happened and where we are today, right? So at which point now the magistrate has the decision whether or not, right, to give you bail, right, or to say, you know what, no, actually, because we think you're going to commit further offences, so we're going to hold you on bail, right? But if the magistrate gives you bail, they will certainly put conditions on that bail, right, that you do not go back out and commit this offence, or they tell you to stay away from a certain place, right? And then obviously, if you do it again, then there'll be no choices. Like once you break a court order, you go to prison. So everybody goes to prison for breaking court orders. There's no coming back from that at all. Do you know what I mean? Right. So that's how that situation works. Do you know what I mean? And like, you know, and then we know that the police have always had powers, to if they think that you're going to cause problems somewhere, right, they will come and they can round you up like they do to people for the carnival, right? Every year at carnival, right? Um, the police will go out probably on the Thursday or the Friday before. They'll go around and they'll grab whoever they need to grab, and then let them back out on the Tuesday after the carnival, right? So, I say I don't understand, right, how this situation is playing out in this way, because they also do the same thing to the football fans. If you're an England fan and you want to go abroad, right, when England's playing, but they know that you're a hooligan, they'll come and they'll take your passport. Do you know what I mean? I just thought of something. Right? Just thought of something, right? Imagine that, yeah. The people, the carnival, right? They go and they round them up and they fling them in prison, right? The football hooligans, right? They take their passports. Can you tell me what's the difference between those two sets of people? I'll let you ponder on that one. I'll let you ponder on that one, but I've just realised myself the difference. Yeah. So I really hope that you racist ass Brexiters, are happy with yourself right now, right about now, right? Because you've taken us right back up into the 70s, right? We now have fuel shortages. Our petrol stations are running dry. And it's all down to you Brexiters. You are the people who have done this to this country, right? All because of your dirty, stinking racism, right? Is racism really worth this? Is it really worth this, right? Can you not see now, right? How much the Tories have destroyed this country, destroyed, right? And they're using you guys to help them do it. They're using you guys, to help yourself fuck yourself over. How stupid have you got to have been, right, to have voted for Brexit, right, to have turned Britain into a hostile environment, right? So our good, decent European brothers and sisters don't even want to come here because of people like you. Why can't you leave and let them come back, right? I don't understand why you think, yeah, that this country belongs to you. This country doesn't belong to you, okay? It doesn't belong to you, right? This country, right, was one of the greatest countries ever. Hence the title, Great Britain. It's a bit flashy, but that's what it is, right? And you guys, yeah, you have destroyed this country. You've just destroyed it. Do you know what I mean? Just like, you know, you know what really gets me, yeah, is we haven't even got good weather, right? Do you know what I mean? Right? So obviously, yeah, people from wherever in the world, yeah, want to come here and live here for a reason, because they're not coming here for the weather. Okay, so just think about that, right? With your stupid ass racist self, right? Because now we have fuel, and I filled up my van last night, right? And I was gonna go back when I got home after work. I was gonna go back out and fill up the flipping car, but you know what? I couldn't because I was just too flipping there. I was just too tired, right? But seriously, this is just like this is disgraceful. Right? People, the rest of the world are just looking at Britain and just saying, that's what the rest of the world. They're not even sniggering at us. They're just belly laughing, belly laughing at us, right? Because we are stupid, right? We should be in like we should all be in something like Blackadder, just as the big. We should all just play the part of Baldric in Blackadder, right? Because right, this is just disgusting, right? Fuel crisis again. Our petrol stations are running dry. Imagine that in Great Britain in the 21st century, right? But it's what it is here. It's the level of racism that has got us here. That's what has got us here. Your level of racism, right? You know, I think that I think, yeah, that a lot of the fuel tanker drivers, yeah, have been offered better money, right? That's just simply it. I think they've just been offered better money. Do you know what I mean? I know a lot of these guys are very highly paid, but you know when you know when the bigger companies come in. Do you know what I mean? I know all the fuel companies are massive companies. Do you know what I mean? But if there's much more money being offered by other companies for the then unfortunately, because there's going to be a shortage of them, because it's not just like a normal HG1 class 1 license you need for that. For a fuel lorry you need a hazardous waste license as well, right? And that's difficult to get hold of, because you really have to have a job with one of the companies, right, for them to get you that part of the license, right? But you can't get into those companies without that, without the hazardous waste part. So I suppose they're going to start. I suppose they're going to fast track them through now anyway. So we could. So in the next few, in the next, well, it's going to be the next few years, because it's not as if to say that you could just get hold of HGV licenses just like that. Do you know what I mean? There's I know that they've reduced the training period or whatever, right? But it's still going to take I don't know, between 8 months and a year before if you was to make your application today, it'd probably take you that long before you actually got in a cab and actually start. And then obviously you'd have to go out with someone else at first, and then the companies have to do the second part of your training, right? So they need to teach you how to reverse and to uncouple, because that's not on the test anymore, right? So it's not as if to say, what, even if all the people that pass today, it's not like they're going to be on the road in a couple of days, because that's not going to happen. Do you know what I mean? So it's we're going to be going through this situation, right, for maybe a couple of years, right? Obviously, the army will probably be on the streets pretty soon to drive the fuel trucks, because that's going to be that's very important to keep us all with fuel. So because every time Boris Johnson does anything, he always has to involve the army because everything he touches, right, turns to lead. Right, the man has got a reverse Midas touch. Right, as you can see in the state of the country, it's the reverse Midas touch. Right, so you know, so the situation we're in now, it's not gonna ease up. Not for now. Do you know what I mean? Especially like the things like the food shortages and that. Do you know what I mean? Because I can see them getting like the army in to do to do the fuel shortages. Not so much the food, but the fuel shortages. They're gonna have to get. But as I said, Boris Johnson every single time. Remember the Olympics when Boris Johnson took over from Ken Livingstone, right? And he come in and fucked up all the security, right? And the next team, right? He had to get the army in to come and help every single time, the army, because Boris Johnson is a complete incompetent. But you Brexiters, I don't know what it is you see in him. I don't. Do you know what? Yeah, I have no clue. I wouldn't. I never voted for him for London mayor, right? And I certainly, so I don't. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Because we from the left, we all see it. We look and think, well, are you serious? This is what we've got representing us, right? The man went to what was the UN in front of the delegates, yeah, and he quoted Kermit the Frog. It's not easy being green. Please, right? Now, if I went to like a primary school or an infant school to give a speech, right, then I might use that reference. But then again, these current kids might not know who Kermit the Frog is, right? But this is the man you people have put to represent us. Someone who will go to the UN and quote Kermit the Frog. MP Daniel Hannan, right? You think to yourself, are all Tory MPs stupid? Are they are all of them just like a big bunch of thickos? Just like really, really, really stupid, right? Just, you think to yourself, well, people can fact check you, right? And then when you get fact checked on the spot, right, you're really made to look like an absolute dummy. You see, Daniel Hannan, he was on the BBC, right? And they were speaking about the deal that we didn't get, because obviously the Americans is like, yeah, we could do some AUKUS, yeah, but I ain't feeling no trade deal with you. We're better off doing a trade deal with Vietnam, and we bombed them, so we owe them more than we owe you. Right. So, yeah. So he's on the BBC, yeah, and he's talking about like piggybacking off of a deal with Mexico, right? And we've got like so he's talking about this, and there's a congressman on the other side, yeah, from like one of the congressmen, and the congressman's basically like, well, I've heard nothing about that at all, right? At which stage Daniel Hannan did really think on his feet, and he said, "No, I've been speaking to other people, to other." Just, just you know what? Like, I can't remember which presenter it was, but she just made him look like a flipping idiot. Like, I mean, you just think to yourself, seriously, right? This is the level of competence, right, in the ministers that we have, right? These politicians that you people are voting in, you Brexiters have voted in people like Daniel Hannan, right, who's a complete goose, a complete idiot, right? You got the Channel 4 interview with Boris Johnson where he was just made to look really. In fact, the Channel 4 interview where Boris Johnson was made to look really stupid the other night. Right, but the thing is, right, as the Brexiteers are coming up for interview, they're all looking so food. When I tell you, these guys are all looking because obviously everything's unraveling now, because we've got Yellow Hammer in full effect, absolutely full effect. Because remember what Yellowhammer said, and you Brexiters said to us, oh, there was Project Fair. Project Fair. We know what we voted for. Right, we voted for fuel shortages, we voted for food shortages, we voted to ruin the financial industry, we voted for farming to be fucked up. We voted for these things, and you told us. Remember, you said to us that you don't care, right? If it makes you poorer. I don't know. I never like using that word, poorer. Let's just go for you don't care if you're less well off, right? But that's what you guys told us. You guys told us that you don't care. You don't give a shit if you're less well off. Right? So long as the fucking immigrants don't come in. I just added that bit. But that's what was going on in your head. But you did tell us that. You told us that you knew what you voted for, right? So, we're down to that again, right? Did you vote for fuel shortages? Hmm? Did you? I bet a lot of you was just be going like, well, you know, if that's what it takes, then that's what that's what's going to happen. Yes, but we also have here shortages of medication. So much people. I listened to radio last night, and like I listened to three people phone up and speak about their medications that they can't get. Some of them haven't had their medication for like 10 days, right? Because the chemist, the chemist can't get hold of it, right? But so you can have things that might there might be some of these companies from the EU who are refusing to come to deliver to Britain anymore because that's what they're doing, which is refusing to come here, right? So if it's caught up like that, now obviously the government's got to find some new way, right, of getting those particular medications and drugs into the country. Do you know what I mean? Right. So I don't know how, right, but that's what's got to happen. Do you know what I mean? But there's a lot of people, who are suffering because they can't get their medications right now. Yeah, and again, Yellowhammer, right, described all of that, all of that. The government done their report, right? But then when we've got a bunch of politicians who would sign who would sign a trade deal right with when they had less than 48 hours to read through it, right, and they'd sign it. Do you know what I mean? It would have really at that point every single politician in this country should have said, well, no, this is going to take months. This is going to take us months to decipher. We can't just go through this and sign it, and you have it. But you can't do that, right? But they didn't. Do you know what I mean? Right? Even Keir Starmer, right? Helped Boris Johnson with this. Do you know what I mean? So all of them are guilty. Every last one of them are guilty. Everybody who voted for this deal is guilty of what's going on now. They're all of them. Every last one of them who signed it, guilty. You voted for this shit, right? They should have known better. They're supposed to be highly educated people. They should have known better, right? They should have known better, right? It comes back down to like selling off everything in your country, right? Now we're seeing the effects of that, right? That's not that's selling off all this stuff. That's not down to Brexit. That's just down to being an idiot. Right, you sell off all the, you sell off all the, the gold and the silverware in your country. Right, Centrica, what is that? That must be a private company, right? But they shouldn't, they shouldn't be right. They sold off, they sold off their storage. They've got something like 7 day storage, right? Most other countries have got 3 to 6 months storage of gas. We've got 7 days. Because these guys are just like, yeah, we'll sell that and we'll just give the money to the shareholders. And we have allowed them to get away with this shit. Right? But they can get away with it because you Brexiters, right? I've been asked not to use the racist gene anymore. Right? But if we can say, okay, so if we can say you was born with an alleged racist gene, right? And this is what has fucked this country up, right? So much so, right, that you've got companies that produce CO2, right, that can hold the whole country to ransom. An American company. A British company couldn't go to America and do that. We wouldn't be allowed, we wouldn't be given all of that power. We'd never be given all that power. And you know, if we did, if that happened and a British company was like, do you remember if that happened and a British company, right, done something like that in America, right, they would sure, right, get rid of that company after they've dealt with the situation. They'd just get rid of them. That'd be it, done. Get rid of. Finish them off, done. Do you know what I mean? Finish them off. That's it, done. Do you know what I mean? Right. Remember when BP, right? I think it was an oil spill or something like that. But it was in America or just outside America. But the next thing, right? The Americans was calling them British Petroleum. Remember? Right, they put it out there. British Petroleum. They put it out there. Yeah, to let the people know this is not an American company. This is a British company that's done this. Do you know what I mean? Whereas it, you know, so you got to remember we wouldn't be allowed to do that over there, but they can come here and they can do that shit because we've got a bunch of useless big bag of shithole politicians, right? Who just allow anybody to come to this country and buy whatever they want, right? And then they can hold us to ransom, if they've got a monopoly in that. That's who, you know. That's what happens. That's what happens, right? You know, racism and nationalism always fucks your country up. So, welcome to Brexit Britain, a fucked up place to be, right? So, you know, it's going to be 2023, right, before they're up to date with all the cancer patients now, right? You know, because Boris Johnson decided, you know, to basically close the NHS down, right, to save the NHS, right, while killing off 140,000 of our fellow citizens, but you know, he saves the NHS. This is how stupid he thinks you are. You know, the NHS wasn't saved, not with 140,000 people dead. That's not saving the NHS. Okay, that's not saving the NHS. Right. So because he decided to close everything down, then we've got so much people, yeah, who haven't had their cancer diagnosed, right? And so much people, and it's been too late for so many people when they got their diagnosis come through. It's just been too late for them. Do you know what I mean? And that's all because, you know, we've got a clown who handled the whole pandemic completely rubbish. That's what happens, right? When your country is a big bag of racist idiots and nationalism is running through. That's what happens. Okay? So you guys need to get a fucking grip of yourself. Right? So let's talk about a bit of Brexit. Right? So I've seen I've seen a documentary on Byline. Please watch this one, right? And just look out for the guy who's the turkey farmer, right? At the beginning of it now, yeah, this guy says, you know what, yeah, please, right, just report on exactly what I say, right? That's what he says. Please report on exactly what I say, right? Because other medias have come up here and they've cut out, you know, we've cut out certain things, right? And then the first thing he says is, this is all the fault of Brexit. Down to you racist or stupid, foolish Brexiters, right? And you TiVos, right? You working class Tories, right? You Brexiters, right? You people from the Red Wall. All of this, right, is down to you. Right, so you, right, need to think about your actions, your disgusting racist actions, and you need to change who the fuck you are, because you're a big bunch of stupid racists, and you have destroyed this once great nation, you bunch of fools. Anyway, this is By Any Means Necessary. I'm the MC John Ribs. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.